Hi, my name's Karen Ingram and I'm a Senior Master Instructor for Peak Pilates and a pain coach. And I work with people to help reduce their pain and move them towards a pain-free life. I've got a degree in social policy and I'm currently completing my Masters in pain science and pain education. And I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about pain. Now, most of us believe that pain is a direct marker of tissue damage. So the more pain we have, the more damage we must have done to ourselves. So literally hurt equaling harm. But that's not actually true. Modern pain science now tells us that pain is all about protection. Pain is there to protect you and actually bears very little resemblance to how much tissue damage you may or may not have. And I'm going to use these cliffs here. I'm at Nash Point in Wales, beautiful part of the coastline, and I'm going to use these cliffs to just explain one way that pain is not a measure of tissue damage. So I'm going to now pop up to the top of the cliff. So here I am at the top of the cliffs. And you can see that the drop is pretty sheer. So remember, pain is always about protection, but sometimes our danger alarm system in our bodies that tells the brain protection is needed can become oversensitive. And then, as we know, pain will not necessarily reflect any danger to the tissues whatsoever. So we have a pain protection buffer that's built into us. So if this cliff edge and I went over it, I'm going to do a serious amount of tissue damage, and our bodies never want us to hurt ourselves. So what it does is it puts a line, and you can see here on the cliff that there's a rail that I'm supposed to be stood behind actually that's going to stop me walking off the edge of the cliff. And all this grass between this rail and the cliff edge is a big buffer. So if I stood on that, like I did just now, I'm not going to do myself any tissue damage. It's a big protect by pain buffer. And it's a decent distance back from the cliff edge. And that's how our bodies work. So pain will stop you before you do tissue damage. Unfortunately though, for people who've had chronic pain that's lasted beyond when tissues would normally heal, so that's typically 3 months, what happens with them is their bodies become oversensitive. And so what happens is this protect by pain line gets moved back. So it's now, I'm going to walk all the way back here, as if this fence protecting me from the cliff, rather than being a few feet back from the cliff, is now more like 20 foot back from the cliff. And what that means is that my protect by pain buffer is now absolutely huge. And I am so far away from doing tissue damage, it's almost bordering on the ridiculous. And what that will mean to someone, if that was happening in my body, which it did a number of years ago, it means that, from back here, I can't really enjoy the view. I can't really engage with life. It'll stop me doing my exercise. It'll stop me participating in daily living tasks because pain is kicking in way too early and pain is trying to stop me and protect me. But when there's absolutely no chance of tissue damage whatsoever. So pain is fascinating and it's not always telling us exactly what you think it might. And the 3 seminars I'm going to be running for Peak Pilates really dive into that. So ask yourself, how should I teach Pilates to someone in pain? Is it okay to work through pain? Does pain mean that they're injured, that they're hurting? How can you work with someone to change where their protect by pain line is and to decrease the size of their pain buffer back to how it should be normal? And these are all the things that we're going to explore. The lovely thing about this series is we've got 3 2-hour sessions with time in between so that you can really dive into it, do some homework assignments, think about it, reflect on it. And I really hope that by you understanding the modern science of pain, it will change the way that you work with people, and hopefully it will enable you to move people towards a pain-free life too. I look forward to meeting you.